This transition begins great opportunities to transsexual people if we are willing to take them on. These include freedom, knowledge, and the ability to participate in mystery, the mystery that our lives become once we have changed our sex and eluded all expressions of how and who we are, and the mystery we find the world to be as we take part in it from the vantage point of complete strangers, alien to and yet intimately familiar with each sex. Unlocking the mystery of knowing that just as we are not simple, nothing and no one else is either. The world is a stretching, shaking net, wild with biologically rooted instinct, flashes of intuitive abstract thought from encoding and creating culture, inchoate dream sequences, yearnings that search and destroy all assumptions and all dogmatic wishful thinking. It is a jungle and we're in it. I've changed my sex. Future generations of transsexuals will only do it more thoroughly as biotechnology becomes more refined. The previously unthinkable range that the transformation actually weds us more deeply to the rest of humanity. From the margins, the periphery, the middle expanses are not easily viewed. Changing sex is radical because it is essence, far-fetched and magical, not because my imagined alliance to any particular political ideology. Being transsexual has nothing to do with being part of the unilateral political movement, a religion, or a cult. It is not any particular job to redirect society and to change it to some utopian or politically dystopian, multi-gendered globe. I believe that transsexuals must fight for civil rights, for affordable, competent health care, for the right to live as themselves with respect and dignity. But I am not interested in a sanctimonious, quote, movement, end quote, where being, quote, transgender, end quote, becomes a self-referential lifestyle or is tethered to an ideologically arch set of political values. Transsexuality is not, as some would know, contend, a natural extension, page 6, of lesbian feminism, or of any other type of feminism. While not necessarily in opposition to feminists, in its many permutations, it is distinct. Transsexual identities must be defined and expressed on our own terms. Our voices are unique and, until recently, unheard and incompletely imagined. There are infinite permutations of identity, now identified as, quote, transgendered, end quote, currently in vogue in queer communities, quote, FDM dyke butch, end quote, quote, dyke bio chick who cross-dresses, end quote, quote, queer tranny fag boy, end quote, biofemme transgender lesbian, end quote. Let there be no mistake. Everyone has a right to be who they are or think they are at any moment, to shock or to piss off, to repossess, to realign their scrotum, tits, attitude, skin color, hair color, outfit, and cheekbones. Everyone has a right to be admitted to that exclusive, sexy party, and it's beginning to look as though everyone wants to be. That said, I'm skeptical and ultimately wary of enthusiasm for these new, quote, queer, end quote, self-congratulatory, self-conscientious, and self-conscious, quote, transgressive, transgendered identities, end quote. After all, the desire to have all your options open and never close the door behind you is very American. The belief that you should be able to make any choice at any time. We consume commodities, lifestyles, and now identities with the avidity of jackals, with one finger on the remote control and another on the index of her crotch. The lifestyle or quote identity and quote choice is a sweating, heated melange of images, a loopy potpourri, a postmodern snuff film. We leer at our former identities as they wither and die. We feel triumphant in the voyeurism. The distance our most recent self-invention has opened. Finally, all our various assorted lifestyles, conflated sexual orientations, and gender identities become just another tidy item for consumption, reproduction, and mass-marketed self-congratulation. We aren't beings with identities. We are consumers in search of a euphoric identity. A slight and whimsical euphoria that can be measured, quantified, and possessed into a, quote, safe, end quote, space. An identity that's simultaneously final and open, that cancels out the fatality and palatable limits of choice, chance, or destiny. A contrived identity, hyphenated, and situated beyond certainty or doubt. Page 7. I prefer simply the awkward, close edges of a native yet emphatic truth-telling, the discerning yet ecstatic voice of authenticity. I'm interested in inquiry, imagination, the transmutation of elemental psychic energies. I don't have an axe to grind in terms of making everyone give up the, quote, bipolar, end quote, gender system. Hey, I like being a guy, and I like it when women enjoy being women. The man-women dynamic turns me on big time. Boy-girl, like animals. Basic, old-fashioned, bipolarized. Politics of left and right bore me. They strike me as short-sighted. Too much bad art, too many dead bodies. Chairman Mao, Stalin, and Hitler had a lot in common. Fidel Castro jails queers and writers. These people thought, bracket, or in the case of Castro, still think, and bracket, that the control of thought, bodies, and destinies is for the greater good. They believe in a totalization of identity, a, quote, movement, end quote, a structured utopia. I'm in league with nature's lucidity and hunger, with Blake's devil, whose, quote, energy is eternal delight, end quote, as well as a primeval, mischievous id that drives Pan to manhandle and seduce any sexy goddess you can think of, with his big hairy hands, his pipes. I'm in league with technology and big dreams that ignite people with hope and pleasure, the future and exhalation of biological invention we can't yet imagine. Freedom brisk and invigorating, not a hallmark of experience, not a therapy, nothing trite or sentimental, nothing preachy or unctuous, nothing so easy, safe, formulaic, no comfort zones masquerading as truth. I'm searching for an unpredictable, body-wrenching experience. Page 8. Introduction. The Testosterone Files is about transformation in the area of sexual politics. Theory alchemically translated from the flesh. It careens through my first 5 years of transition from female to male, detailing the physiological, psychological, and social transformations of that drastic phase in my sex change.